Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Are the various margas means paths, are the various margas to moksha separate or linked? For example, can a karma yogi currently pursue bhakti yoga or jnana yoga? According to the Shastra, talks about two lifestyles. Two lifestyles. In fact, there are no paths to talk about. What is the path for that which is yourself? Huh? How are you going to go to you? It's like a dog chasing its own tail. Where is the path? So, the Shastra, the Ishopanishad, talks about two lifestyles. One is to just plunge into this knowledge, hook, line and sinker, nothing else there, all the boats are and the bridges are burnt. This is called renunciation, aka sannyasa. It's a nishtha, it's a committed lifestyle. The other one, if this seems too drastic, and you feel like renouncing the renunciation, the very thought of renunciation, then this is not for me. If you feel that, then the other lifestyle is one of gradually going to gain clarity about the truth of myself, even while pursuing various other goals. As long as I have moksha in view, I'm headed there. On the way, the train has many, many stops, and that's okay. Like the story of going to the airport. I'm headed to the airport, but there are a few stops on the way. These are the only two lifestyles. One is karma yoga. Yoga here means lifestyle. The other one is jnana yoga. And so many other yogas are talked about, bhakti and what else, Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga, this yoga, that yoga, etc., etc. Those are all they cannot be seen as, even these two are not separate. It's just a question of lifestyle. The karma yogi pursues Atma Jnanam, the jnana yogi is also pursuing Atma Jnanam. There is just a difference in how many hours a day. One is full time, one is part time. Okay, that's all you have to take it as. So, bhakti yoga means it's not a separate thing. What will the bhakta, quote unquote, do? What will the bhakta do? Tell me. Do bhajans. That's still karma. Vachikam karma. Do meditation. Manasam karma. Do puja. Kayikam karma. Physicalized action, mental action, verbal action, it's still action. So the bhakti is common to both. You cannot gain knowledge without bhakti, because one cannot bypass Bhagavan. If we are dealing with a manifest universe, there will be all kinds of difficulties, and to overcome those difficulties, one needs an altar of surrender. And that altar cannot be an altar of surrender without understanding what it is. And so, therefore, this Ishvara becomes a point of relating to Bhagavan, relating to Ishvara. And so, therefore, Those are the two lifestyles. The Karma Yogi is a Bhakta, the Jnana Yogi is also a Bhakta. So Bhakti is not a separate path. Because we have to see the question of paths come into the picture for two reasons. One is we haven't understood the pursuit. The pursuit is not that of something that is away from me. If something is away from me, then if it is in the next city, I can go by plane, car, bus, train. Many options are there. If it is centered on me alone, then I have to know it. I am already what I seek. So since the object of pursuit is centered on the I, the subject, the options are not there. The problem of suffering is what? Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance. It's just like the example that I gave earlier. What is that? Huh? Glasses on the head. Where are my glasses? If I do bhajan, will I get them back? Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. No. If I stand on one leg and do some kind of penance, tapas, will I get them back? No. If I do karma yoga, cut vegetables tomorrow in the dining hall, will I get them back? No. What do I need to do to be one, be united with the glasses? What do I need to do? Somebody has to tell me. A good Samaritan, seeing me suffering through various actions, has to tell me, this is not something to act, this is something to know. They are right on top of your head. That is exactly how this quest is. It's an as-though quest, where the seeker and the sought are one and the same. So therefore you don't even need one marga, let alone many margas. Two lifestyles are given, and the object of both the lifestyles is to know that my glasses are on my head. That's all. What happens after the Atman merges with Paramatman? Who says it is separate? Huh? The premise that it is separate is the problem. This is a wrong conclusion. Because as we saw in the beginning of this retreat, what did we see? We saw that all that appears is not really true. All that appears. The sun appears to set in the sky. Is the sunset real? No. The sky appears to be blue. Is that true? No. Space appears to be polluted. Can space become polluted? No. All these are appearances. Everything that appears in a certain way does not mean that it is real. And so too, Atma, I, seem to be alienated from Bhagavan, from Ishvara, from the total. But that also, like the sunrise, like the sunset, is not true. And that is why we spend time studying it. So the question of what happens when the sun sets into the Pacific Ocean, does it make a noise as the sun touches the water, is a moot question. Why? Because the sun is not setting at all. Neither is it setting, nor is it rising. Na udeti, na astameti. And so, similarly, this Atma is neither going towards Paramatma, nor has it come away from Paramatma. In fact, there is no Paramatma, there is just Atma. From the standpoint of this hapless body-mind-sense complex, one thinks one is separate, whereas one is not really separate. This has to be understood and discovered. Okay? So what happens? Nothing happens because they are never separated to begin with. If most pursuits are only in the service of temporary ananda, how can we tell which voluntary pursuits are worthy? For example, if one is asked to lead a bhajan, why is that a worthy pursuit when it does not lead to Brahmananda? Well, that depends. Bhajan may lead to Brahmananda. How do you know it won't lead? Because after all, it is bhakti, it has shraddha, and it has a certain immersive quality. So, in a way, it is helping the antahkarana to free itself of strong prejudice and preferences. So this way, anything can lead you closer to recognizing the truth of yourself, and anything may not lead you closer. How do you tell the difference? Not by the nature of the action, but by the attitude by which the action is performed. So it's not what you do, it is how you do it. You see, there's a big difference. I can be doing many things. Some things may not have anything to do with Brahman at all. Maybe in the office I'm crunching some numbers. Nothing to do with Brahman or Brahma Vidya. But the attitude with which I do those actions, what happens? There is an opening in the heart. I do it with a spirit of service. I do it not for the sake of results of action. I divest myself from having a connection to the result of action. I do it for my self-growth. I do it to grow out of my raga, my dvesha. So this kind of a doing means I can do anything and still be on the path of Brahma Vidya. Because Brahma Vidya speaks to the person who is internally grown, inwardly mature. How do I know I'm inwardly mature? I depend less and less on outward sources to keep me happy. That is how I know, to keep me secure, to keep me happy. And so, this is the growth. It doesn't matter if it is a bhajan or if it is cleaning dishes or if it is going to the office. The action doesn't matter. The attitude with which I do the action can either lead to my growth, my emotional maturity as a person. I can grow into someone more compassionate, more accommodative, less intolerant, or I can devolve into an angry, small individual. The choice is in the attitude with which the action is performed. That is what makes karma yoga, not the action itself. In your time studying with Pujya Swamiji, what were some teachings or characteristics of Swamiji that left an indelible mark on your own approach to teaching and interacting with students? Where to start? That's the question. I would say everything. Can't really single out any one thing. Everything. Because I had the good fortune to travel with him for a number of years, I am all over the world and all over India. I had the blessed opportunity to observe how he taught, not only observe how he taught, but how he was with people, how he was with people everywhere. And that really was very transformative on many, many levels. One incident I can relate. We were in the informal satsang room where he had satsangs in Rishikesh. Now it is called the photo gallery, if you have been there recently. And there he was having just some satsang. And suddenly the electrician came. He's still there in the ashram. The electrician came and said, "Look at my bad luck, Swamiji." He said in Hindi, "Look at my bad luck. I'm with you so much, but I have no idea. What is it that you are teaching? And I don't know how to benefit from this knowledge. I don't think I can sit in your lecture. I don't know English. And I don't know how to understand it. Look at how much misfortune I have that I am next to the Mahatma, but I am not gaining this." Swamiji said, "What are you doing right now?" And he said, "Nothing, I'm right here. I came to fix something and I was going somewhere else. I saw you sitting here. I came to do namaskar. Sit down." He made him sit down right in front of him. And in broken Hindi, gave a wonderful Vedanta talk. It was so marvelous to see. And he talked about electricity, which is like Brahman, and various bodies which are like the bulbs, the geyser, and the heater, and the cooler, and all these things. And he was just transformed. I could see the transformation on his face. He said, I know, now I see, I know." It was just all in his language, using the tools of his craft. And even though the Hindi, the command, Swamiji's command over the Hindi language was not great. And as he himself would joke, "Kabhi kabhi Hindi aati hai, kabhi kabhi Hindi aata hai." So it wasn't great. He said Hindi just flummoxed him. He would say, "Dal is masculine. Chawal is also masculine. Dal khaya, chawal khaya." But when you mix them together, you have to say, "Maine khichdi khai." He would say, "Why? Why are they doing this to us?" And in this way, still, despite these challenges, he was able to communicate that. And to see someone of his caliber take the time for a person who was working in the ashram and do that was something which is very, very touching, very beautiful. Physical body, jada, does not need liberation. Does the physical body need liberation? No. Good. I don't have to see anyone after class. Okay. I, Atma, Brahman, does not need liberation. Why? Ever free. Okay. If I am neither the subtle body nor the causal body, then who is the one who is reborn? Who is the one who needs liberation, to be liberated? Meaning, who is the one who is ignorant? This, is an age-old question. In fact, somebody also asked Adi Shankara. Slightly differently, same question. Good question, Because the body does not think. The body doesn't have a complex. Oh, I am ignorant. And then Atma cannot have a complex, because that which is free of complexes is Atma. And so who is the one that says, I am ignorant? Who is the one that approaches a teacher? Who is the one that needs instruction? You can say the provisional answer to that is that the one who is ignorant, the one who is suffering from ignorance. So the one who is suffering from ignorance means what? Who is the one suffering from ignorance? Where is the ignorance located? It's not in the body, it's not in the Atma. Where is the ignorance located? Somebody asked Adi Shankara, to which Adi Shankara replied in the very nature of the asker of the question. So in a way, it is this very iffy entity called the I notion, aka Ahankara. The Ahankara which suffers because it identifies with the body-mind-sense complex as what? As itself, as the truth of itself, which is a very sad proposition because body finite, mind finite, everything is finite. Senses finite. And so this proposition makes it catches on to the finite and becomes sad. That is the one that needs instruction to let go of the finite and re-identify itself as the infinite. That is the one that needs instruction. But then it's not really there. The definition of Ahankara is that which cannot stand enquiry. Vicharam na sahate. But still, as long as it is there, it causes trouble. So what is this Ahankara? That which identifies with the smallness and attaches itself to the self-ignorance. That is the one. How can one explain the realization of the self that comes outside the path of studying Vedanta? For example, Sadguru Jaggi said he didn't study any text to achieve liberation and also advises against texts as intellectual pursuits, as the intellect is meant to divide and the realization is about expansion. I don't know who this person is, so I can't comment on that. But we can take some other examples, like Ramana Maharshi. People say that he hardly needed any instruction and he gained this knowledge. How do we explain that? Or there might be some other examples in history. We can say that they did everything in their last life. In this life, whatever was left is what? Is a little bit to overcome. Little bit to overcome, some prarabdha to experience, and that is all was needed. Karma yoga must be done. Emotional maturity has to be gained. The prerequisites for studying Vedanta are not surmountable, cannot be bypassed. The only difference is asmin janmani, in this life one gains it, or one could have gained in previous lives. That being said, one more point we should see is that we don't look for exceptions. Exceptions do not devalue the rule. Exceptions make the rule, in fact. So the exceptions will always be there. Look at the rule. That is the safe way. We go with the rule. We don't go with the exception. Next one. Is a vegetarian closer to moksha than a non-vegetarian? Is a vegetarian Hindu a morally better person than a non-vegetarian Hindu? Vegetarian means what? See, you have to eat something. You can't not eat anything. If we were meant to make our own food, the Lord would not give us hands and legs. The Lord would have given us solar panels, instead of arms and legs, so that we could just sit in the sun all day like plants and make our own food. We cannot do that. We have to eat something. You can eat an animal. What does the animal do when you try to catch it? Hello? You run away. Simple. We are not talking of things you purchase in the shop, already killed, cut and packed in styrofoam. It should be a fair game. In the past, what was the name of this caveman? The caveman used to go out with his hands, or maybe just a small knife fashioned out of stone or something like that, and the animal would come out. It also had its own knife. What is that? Claws. Some day the animal would be his lunch, other days he would be the animal's lunch. 50-50. It was a fair game. Now it is not, because we have established superiority and we have the worst ways of ending life. And so, people said to me, how come you can eat eggplant? It does not run away. That's what we can say. It does not run away. But how do you know it doesn't have feelings? It may have feelings. We don't know. In fact, somebody recently told me about a study. They said that green beans, eggplant and tomatoes, they did a study on these three vegetables. After they were picked, when they were cut, apparently they made a few noises. Yeah. After that I said, please, I do not want to hear about this study. Those are the few vegetables I can eat. What are you doing to me? So, one has to eat something. It's about less and less violence. Ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharma. This is why we are vegetarian. Because food is vegetarian. Oshadhibhyo annam. Upanishad says. You can either eat the vegetables directly, or you can feed the vegetables to an animal and eat the animal. So some people say, I am a vegetarian, and then some people say, I eat only vegetarians. Yeah. So, it is about ahimsa. Things that have life are just like us. They have feelings, they have pain, and so we don't increase that. And also, unlike cats, we have the ability to eat, not live off of animals, and still have a complete diet. Cats cannot do that. Please don't make your cat vegetarian if you have one. So, this is what it is. We can afford to be vegetarian, and so why not? Is that closer to moksha? I don't know. I mean, it's a value that is given in the Upanishad, in the Bhagavad Gita. So the value of ahimsa makes me a more sensitive person, makes me a more compassionate and accommodative person. So in that sense, I will be closer to gaining this knowledge. Vegetarianism does not give moksha. What gives moksha is knowledge. In mathematics, in order to understand abstract concepts, one solves exercises or problems. Is there an analog in the study of Vedanta? What are the things to practice in daily life to put the teachings to application? That's what. It's all about gaining emotional maturity. That's the exercises, that is the problem solving. That's what it is. How to be together as a human being. Because the human being is split. There are multiple beings in one person. Without this vichara, inquiry. What are the multiple beings? One wants something else. One wants Vedanta. Another wants to beat up everybody around them. And the third one wants something else. So like this, in terms of wants, there are multiple beings. In terms of pursuits, there are multiple pursuits. All that is made into one. Then there is the adult and the truncated inner child that is constantly looking for validation. Those two have to be integrated. And that, the karma yoga is really the best way. Not focusing on the result of action and putting the effort into self-growth. So if I don't focus on the result of action, what do I focus on? I do the action as a worship of Ishvara and take whatever comes. The result that comes, I learn to take with some kind of a glad acceptance. That is what to do in daily life. How does Rudram fit into Vedanta? What is the significance? Sri Rudram, Chamakam, Vedic Suktas, how do they fit into Vedanta? They are all prayers. Prayer opens the heart. Sri Rudram is Vedanta because it is Bhagavad Darshanam. It offers a darshan of Bhagavan in the form of everything that you encounter. All that is here is Bhagavan. Therefore, it has 300 namahas in the first part, which is called Namaka. Namaha, 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 Namaha. I surrender, it's you, it's you, it's you. And then all things are named. The dried leaf is you. This thing is also you. The cul-de-sac is you. This is you, that is you. Everything is you. That which is difficult to look at, also you. My own karma phala is you, in the form of the arrows. You are hunting me, O Lord. Very evocative, very beautiful. And the Chamaka says, after going through the Namaka, when you come to chant the Chamaka, it's called Chamaka because it has Chame, Chame, Chame. Shanchame, Magaschame, Priyanchame, Nukamoschame, Kamoschame, Saumanasachame, Bhadranchame, Shregaschame, Vasyaschame, Yashaschame, Bhagaschame, Dravinanchame, the Chame, Chame, like this. That's why it's called Chamaka. Chame means, and it is all me. It is all me. Not let these things be there for me. No, it is myself alone. So everything is me alone. First everything is you, and then I am this you, I understand, and then everything is me. Can we ask you about your journey to Vedanta? No. So, what journey really? Not, I'm an ordinary person. So, in anyone's life, when the questions exceed the answers, it's time to do something different. Cannot keep doing more of the same. That's how it is for you. That's how it was for me as well. How do we know we are making progress in our moksha pursuits? How to measure? There is a special tape we can get. According to Swami Paramarthanandaji, he talks about this special measuring tape based on 3 parameters. The first one is seeing that the frequency of samsara attacks are less and less as I grow in progress. Before they used to happen, samsara attack means what? Meltdown, annoyances, pains, sorrows. It used to attack me more and more, maybe several times a week, several times a day. Now it's 2 or 3 times a week. That's the frequency. And previously, I would have a lot of difficulty coming out of them because the intensity was too much. The intensity, meaning the extent to which it would affect me, was too much. Now, the extent to which it affects me is less. Then finally, before, if I had a samsara attack, I would be out of commission for several days. I would not be ready for transaction. I would have to go under the covers. Now, the last one is R, recovery time. Now the recovery time is less and less. I'm able to have a certain resilience and bounce back. Getting there. Anyone else wants to offer a bhajan? Come. Mic is over there.
Okay, I'll try to wake everybody up, maybe more like something else. But so it's a dhun. We sing dhun in some Hindu temples, and so maybe all can help sing with me. राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा देखा, श्याम देखा, घन श्याम देखा, श्याम देखा, घन श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। राधा तेरा श्याम हमने मथुरा में देखा, हो राधा तेरा श्याम हमने मथुरा में देखा, राधा तेरा अरे बंसी बजाते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, बंसी बजाते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा तेरा श्याम हमने गोकुल में देखा, हो राधा तेरा श्याम हमने गोकुल में देखा, अरे गैया चराते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, गैया चराते हुए हो राधा, अरे राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वृंदावन में देखा, हो राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वृंदावन में देखा, अरे रास रचाते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, रास रचाते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा तेरा श्याम हमने सर्व जगत में देखा, हो राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वैष्णव जन में देखा, राधा अरे राधे राधे जपते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधे राधे जपते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, अरे राधे राधे जपते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधे राधे जपते हुए हो राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढ रही किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय।
Role of mysticism in the path of Sanatana Dharma. Mystics means people who have a value for this or who may even understand it. Understand what? That I am non-dual, whole, one with everything. But they may not be able to communicate it because often they may not have been taught along with the methodology. That's all. Is there a role for them? Sure. There's a role for everybody. That is what Sanatana Dharma is. Nobody is left out. Are Ishvara and Brahman one and the same or different? Am I Ishvara or am I Brahman or both? If they are the same, then why do we use two different names? If they are different, how are they different? Ishvara comes from the root verb Ishu Palane, the one that nurtures everything, the one that is the overlord. Ishvara. Vara is a pratyaya, a suffix which means always. Like bha, to shine, plus vara, bhasvara. Thank you. Stha plus vara, stha to stay, vara always. What's that? Plants, trees. Bhasvara, sun. So like this, there is a pratyaya called varach, which makes the word that precedes it with that particular quality always. Always the overlord. So Ishvara, the word is used for Brahman, to understand Brahman from the standpoint of the manifest Jagat. The word Brahman and Ishvara can be interchangeably used, but if they are looked at together, like in addressing this question, when we talk of Brahman, we talk of Swarupa Lakshana. We talk of Satyam Jnanam Anantam Satchidananda. And when we talk of Ishvara, we talk of that Brahman which has various attributes in the form of the cause of the universe. The one is the overlord of the universe, by whom the universe is sustained, unto whom the universe dissolves. This is what is Ishvara. So when we talk of the manifest universe, we can say Ishvara, we can also say Brahman, but generally the term that is used is Ishvara. Brahman is consciousness, and so that Brahman is Satyam, that which exists, that which is all-knowing, and that which is limitless, which is myself alone. About the importance of vegetarian diet, we have already seen that. Are there different lokas? You bet. How many? Numerous, but at least the Shastra talks about 14. 7 up, 7 down. Okay. Do we have to go through the lokas to reach the ultimate? Thank God, no. We can skip all the lokas, because if we keep going to from one loka to another loka, we will go loco. Okay? Yeah. No need for lokas. Yeah. This loka is enough. All right, it will give us all the experiences to want to run away from samsara and embrace this knowledge. No other loka is needed. Are the lokas holding places for different births? They can be, but not for this August gathering, because one is in moksha now, on the path of moksha now. What's the significance of astrology and vastu? Should we care? It's up to you. Everything has a little bit of a use. But then when we overuse it, then it becomes an impediment. Vastu, sure. If somebody tells you, don't face this way, put the bed of the head that way, what does it harm? Nothing. You can do that. There is some truth to all of it. Astrology, Vastu, etc. These are all ancient vidyas. Narada knew all of them, remember. So, nothing wrong in studying, nothing wrong in following. But that is not going to, that can just be some kind of a step or a preparation or a portal to Brahma Vidya. If that is what it is, it's to be celebrated. It's wonderful. Is deep sleep state same as a sedated state? Yes. How do we recognize deep sleep? I seem to be able to remember my dreams, but not deep sleep. That's the point. We can't recognize it. That which we cannot recognize in real time is deep sleep. Okay? Yeah. Subject of moksha as awareness of total lack of desires, realized in the cognitive state. I got lost in the last 10 minutes of class. Only 10 minutes? Desire, how about basic needs like reading glasses, food, etc.? Seeing without seeing, that is on a different level. It's not, we cannot mix up the transactional reality with the absolute reality. No teacher will say, no Shastra will say, give up food and don't have reading glasses. No Shastra will say that. Because it's not practical. Shvetaketu gave up food for 15 days. We saw what happened when he was asked to chant the Samaveda. Could not even open his mouth. So therefore, this is not, that's not what this means. This is a cognitive pursuit. So the dropping of the desire, so desire is not for things that one cannot do without and one needs, like air. Like, should I drop the desire to breathe? Not possible. Should I drop the desire to eat? Not possible. Should I drop the desire to eat repeatedly? Perhaps. But should I drop the desire to eat altogether? I don't think so. So we are not talking of those desires. We are talking of desires that bind one. Binding desires is what we are talking about. I'll repeat that tomorrow. And what is the difference between the sleep state and moksha? In the sleep state, there is non-awareness of desire. Non-awareness of what? The presence of a whole lot of desires. Desires are not gone in sleep, they are merely suspended. Whereas, when one is awakened to the reality of oneself, when awakened to the truth of oneself, one is conscious of what? The absence of desire. That is the difference. What is the best way to deal mentally with suffering a great financial loss? Is there a specific text that will help? You can chant Shri Sukta. That will help. Because it's all about living in abundance. And financial loss is difficult, very difficult. And to see why this happened, what happened, etc. But if you are on this path, you can see it as that which has been instrumental in bringing one closer to the truth of oneself, in bringing one onto this path, helping me to grow and to let go. Just when I think I have done some work on myself and find myself in good shape, a small incident can make me angry, upset. A younger person not thanking me for holding the door for him and just walking past me as though I was his doorkeeper. And so it felt like and made me upset. Does that mean that no work was ever done and it was just my perception? Why such a big ego? Why does simple logic, like it might not be personal or the person is having a bad day, going through something, etc., why does that not immediately come to mind? How can I develop more compassion and handle the ego? First, have compassion for the ego, okay? Yeah. It's a trigger. It's a trigger. It's a trigger from the unconscious mind, which one doesn't know was. That's why it's called unconscious, because I'm not clear that it is there. I don't know. I'm not in touch with it. And it doesn't come out with my permission. Anger does not say, "Hello, may I visit you tomorrow at such and such a time?" It doesn't take permission. It doesn't take an appointment. Does not take an appointment. So therefore, one is blind-sided. So, one opens the door and somebody goes through and does not thank, does not do anything. It happens many times. So I have two choices. What are they? Stop opening doors. Very simple. At least until this trigger resolves. Or think twice before I open the door for somebody. Or open the door is a upalakshana, is a symbolic. So before I do something for somebody, if there is a trigger of not being validated, then better to look into this trigger and then be mindful about what I am doing. What I am doing for somebody or not. So that is important to do. So maybe stop opening the door for a while until this resolves. And then talk to the inner child, the one that felt hurt. Think about, see if it will give some information about when it first felt like this. What was the first occasion when it felt devalued, when it felt invalidated? Do a little analysis, vichara. If nothing comes, doesn't matter. Still work with the inner child and still see that there is still enough information in this incident that there was some hurt. Soothe that hurt. You be the adult and say, there, terrible fellow, did not even say thank you. Yes, sorry about that. You can soothe that child. And that child is mithya. It doesn't really exist, but it exists as though in order to create some kind of an opening for growth. That's all this is about. This doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Progress is being made. Sometimes it's not a linear progress. That's all it is. How to develop a relationship with God and feel the presence in daily life. Pray. Have an altar and have a relationship. To have a relationship, you should do that prayer every single day. That's all. How to become more authentic without fearing that someone might not like us. That's a big one. It's an important one. Many times, for the sake of wanting someone to like me, I may behave exactly as they want me to behave, because I'm afraid I will not be accepted. Authenticity is important, because if I am inauthentic, I'm creating a split between myself. The one that I want to be how other people see me, I morph into that which somebody else wants me to become something, and the one that is really me. There is on the level of personality. Don't go all Satchidananda on me right now, okay? This is all on the level of personality. So, there is a split. And that split means I'm suppressing that one which wants to come out, and I'm letting this other one play, which is an inauthentic version of myself. And that suppression leads to sorrow, leads to various diseases in the body as well. There is one book, excellent book, called The Body Keeps the Score. Very nice book. Talks about the whole emotional, physical connection. And so this way, this split, the authentic one and the inauthentic one. So I have to make myself strong with the help of these teachings to to overcome what other people think it is. This disease called, what will other people think? I have to overcome that. I have to develop that strength and be okay with the fallout of people not liking my choices. Last one. Even after learning Vedanta and practicing Karma Yoga, I take everything too seriously. How to simplify life? Laugh. Laugh at everything, because everything is ultimately laughable. Even the pursuit is laughable. That which is one, the student seriously goes to the teacher. And the first duality is what? Student-teacher duality. That which is one is made into two. And I want to know myself. And what do? I go to somebody else in order to know myself. So like this, everything is laughable. When I laugh at myself, things become lighter. And Vedanta is all about just not taking anything too seriously, because as soon as you catch hold of something, in the next class that is taken away. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.